Peace, peace, peace. Welcome back to the Universal Temple for the Sun, Planet, Moon, and Stars. I'll be your Lord of Hosts, Lord Messiah, and today we're going into several study sciences of the number seven, and I'm gonna break down today my not this right here. Let me get it right. Let me get it right. We're gonna go into a picture's worth a million words by Lord Messiah, and this is volume two, seven Kemetic sciences. The first volume I did was the seven major chakras. I broke down the seven major chakras. Now we're gonna go a little more into that science, you know what I mean? And we're gonna get more scientific with it, you know what I mean? This is why I'm gonna show y'all why I was gonna add scientific to my attribute, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna just show forth the science stuff, you know what I mean? Of a master. So let's get it. All right. So several study sciences are the number seven. A picture's worth a million words. And let me just let y'all know first and foremost, Lord Messiah Allah El, the Universal Temple, Universal Temple for the Sun, Planet, Moon, and Stars International Organization. Lord Messiah Allah El is divinely appointed as Minister for Foreign Affairs. Thus, I am delegated with the authority to execute all duties and missionary works for Lord Messiah Allah El, Universal Temple for the Sun, Planet, Moon, and Stars. The above temple is the political body for Lord Messiah Allah El Nation. Lord Messiah Allah El, Universal Temple for the Sun, Planet, Moon, and Stars, under agreement with the Constitution for Lord Messiah Allah El Nation, under agreement with Lord Messiah Allah El Irrevocable Living Trust, under agreement with Living COVID-Free Independent Contracting, under agreement with Lord Messiah Allah El Universal Treaty for Peace, Freedom, Justice, and Equality, under agreement with Last Will and Testament for Lord Messiah, under agreement with Certificate of Trust for Foreign Ministry, under agreement with the multiple sciences y'all gonna see forth manifest. All right, so let's get it. All right, the seven Kemetic principles. So this is, like I say, volume two from the several study sciences of number seven, and I'm gonna break this down for y'all. So let's get it. All right, it says seven Hermetic principles. And the reason why it says the seven Hermetic principles, aka more, or rather I say the seven Kemetic principles. The reason why I say seven Kemetic principles, because the science came from Kemet, you know what I mean? So I say common, and this is also known as the seven laws of correspondence, as you know. It's commonly known as that. So commonly known as the seven Hermetic principles. The reason why I bestow come on, man, let's get it, man. The reason why I bestowed the title of seven Kemetic principles is because we all should know people like Hermes Trismegistus, you know what I mean, who was said to be, third degree Master Mason or whatever, who was like one of the fathers of Masonry and all of that, where the term Hermetic derives from Socrates, Hippocrates, Plato's, Galileo, Homer, King James, Shakespeare, etc., etc. All these men went to Asia, Africa, and had the Asians or Africans come to Europe and educate these people whose lives and minds were in darkness or into the enlightenment or knowledge of themselves and the science of life and in the universe, on Earth and in the universe. So now you're dealing with the Dark Ages, right? So, or actually before that, let me part stuff. All right, so thus, as a brief history lesson, before there was the Enlightenment Revolution in Europe, there was the Dark Ages in Europe. Science/study proved that before there was light, there was darkness, and the Bible bears witness. Archaeologists Mary and Louis Leakey have shown and proved the carbon test machine made by the original man, Sheikh Anta Diop, that the oldest bones of man's existence were found in Africa, further proving before there was white or light-skinned people on the planet, there was black or dark-skinned people on the planet. Original means first, thus melanated people or so-called black people are the original people. Thus, we can logically draw up the understanding that before the Enlightenment Revolution in Europe, there was the Dark Ages. You know what I'm saying? Hence the term before light, there was dark. So dealing with the Dark Ages, right? So uh, so what's my point? The point being that during the Dark Ages in Europe, the masses of people, 85%, were uneducated or unenlightened to the reality of themselves and the science of life, and the minority of government, 10%, ruled over the people, which caused for a revolution of enlightenment by the 5% of that day coming out of Asia and Africa. From Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia, the Age of Enlightenment, or simply the Enlightenment Age or Age of Reason, was a cultural movement of intellectuals in the 17th and 18th century, which began first in Europe and later in the American colonies. Its purpose was to reform society using reason, challenge idea, ground, and tradition, faith, and advance knowledge through the scientific method. It promoted science, skepticism, and intellectual interchange, and opposed superstition, intolerance, and some abused by the church and state. So, in other words, they came to challenge the norm of the time, the structured society that the government was, the 10% government was ruling over the people at the time. They came to enlighten the people. And really, historically, to put this in context, this is really dealing with the science of the quote unquote Moors coming to civilize the so-called Europeans. You know what I mean? During this period, teaching them how to bathe, how to eat, cook their food properly, and all this good stuff. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna move on, right? All right. So where we at? Where we at? All right. Originating about 1650 to 1700s, it was sparked by philosophers Baruch Spinoza, 1663 to 1677, John Locke, 1663, 1704, Perry Bailey, 1647 to 1706, psychiatric Isaac Newton, physicist Isaac Newton, 1643, 1727, and philosopher Voltaire, 1694 to 1778. Ruling principles often endorse the fostered features and even attempt to apply their ideas. Governments in what known as Enlightenment despotism. The scientific revolution is closely tied to the Enlightenment as it discovers, unlearn many traditional concepts and introduce new perspectives on nature and man's place within it. The Enlightenment flourished until about 1790 to 1800s, after which the emphasis on reason gave way to Romanticism, emphasis on emotion, and a counterintelligence gained force. Okay, so now those particular people they just mentioned, you know what I mean? They want to give credit to those people, but like I believe them. I think not even believe. I know I'm about to mention how basically all of these people, and just like I said, they either went to African Asian, were educated, or had Asians Africans come to Europe and educate them. So it's not like they made up all this stuff on their own. Just remember, they was just in a dark age. So how did these specific individuals get this knowledge? They had to go outside of the realm of that darkness and into some kind of light to be enlightened, hence the Enlightenment Revolution. And then they came back into that darkness and sparked the people with that light. You know what I mean? So that was to enlighten them, to bring them out of the dark ages. You know what I mean? So anyway, thus the major point of this portion is in my writing is to give the precursor of the knowledge and wisdom of the ancient African civilizations like Kemet, or what they now call Egypt. This is where the Europeans, got their enlightenment from the ancient Kemetic principles, sciences. Thus, thus giving Hermes the credit for the ancestors' work is like the Greeks saying they are the fathers of medicine and forgot all about the god Imhotep. You know what I mean? Yeah, they try to say Hippocrates was a father of medicine, but they forget all about Imhotep. You know what I mean? Who was Imhotep? Okay, so another quote. Sorry. Another quote from Wikipedia, the Free Encyclopedia. Uh, Imhotep was an Egyptian polymath. You know, a polymath is a person who's skilled in multiple levels of like science, math, engineering, all this good stuff, like multiple levels of knowledge, or what would be called an adept or master, who served under the third dynasty kingdom of Dozer as chancellor to the pharaoh and high priest of the sun god Ra or Re at Heliopolis. He is considered to be the first architect and engineer and physician and clearly historian through his two other good physicians, Hesira and Merit Ptah, lived around the same time. The full list of the titles is Chancellor of the King of Egypt, Doctor, first in line after the King of Upper Egypt, Administrator of the Great Palace, Hereditary Nobleman, High Priest of Heliopolis, Builder, Chief Carpenter, Chief Sculptor, and Maker of the vases in chief. And vases in chef. Excuse me. Chief. So all of those titles he had. So obviously that's what you call a polymath, one who has multiple, as I just mentioned in the beginning, all some of my credentials. You know what I'm saying? Which is some of. You know what I mean? So facts, polymath. So anyway, thus I ask you, the reader, is it peace or hotep that I bestow the title of 7 Kemetic principles, which simply is 7 principles pertaining to Kemet or Egypt, which are the principles, these principles are 1, which is gender, 2, cause and effect, 3, rhythm, 4, polarity, 5, vibration, 6, correspondence, and 7, mentalism. And some people break it down the other way. They say 1 is mentalism, 2 is correspondence, 3 is vibration, 4 is polarity, 5 is rhythm, 6 is cause and effect, and 7 is gender. Some people break it down the other way. You know what I mean? But all of these align with the chakras. So basically, if you want to break it down according to the chakras, it would line up this way, like the root chakra dealing with gender, the sacral chakra dealing with cause and effect, the solar plexus dealing with rhythm. You know what I mean? As we say, we got soul, we got rhythm. The heart chakra dealing with polarity, like you can deal with love or hate. The throat chakra dealing with vibration, because when you speak, you make a sound. That's a vibration. 6 is dealing with correspondence, because as you think, the thoughts you think come into your environment, and you communicate with your environment through your mind, through your thoughts. You know what I mean? The thoughts you think, you know what I mean? This is what comes into your environment. So you want to think positive thoughts. You know what I mean? And mentalism, you know what I mean? Because dealing with that, and that 6th chakra is dealing with correspondence, dealing with the pineal gland, and then the 7th chakra dealing with the pituitary gland, which is the crown chakra. The pituitary gland is known as the master gland, and the pituitary gland, we know that the pineal gland secretes melatonin, which when shined on by the sun converts into melanin, giving us our dark complexion and our skin, hair, and eyes. But mentalism dealing with the pituitary chakra. The pituitary chakra is how when we think thoughts, they excrete out of our skull and into the universe, basically out of our brain and into the universe. You know what I mean? Through the etheric force of your thoughts. You know what I mean? Thought has a pressure that produces as well as releases a pressure, and when that pressure is released, it brings all things into existence. You know what I mean? So, you're thinking on something real hard, you're thinking on something real deep, and then boom, you finally get the realization of what you need to do to physically bring it into existence. You know what I mean? So let me see where we at right now. How long we into this right here? All right, that was 15 minutes. Okay, we got a little minute to go on. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm gonna make this part one. I'm gonna end this right here, and then I'm gonna come back on part two, and I'm gonna break down gender, cause and effect, rhythm, polarity, vibration, correspondence, and mentalism. All right, so this has been Seven Kemetic Principles by Lord Messiah, Volume 2 of Several Study Sciences of the Number 7, and I'll see y'all back on part 2 of Volume 2. Peace. 2.2. Peace. 2.1. Peace.